Now the bartender should have indicated the place where the ancient temple should be located, but right now, for some reason, it's not pictured. So I'm just going to go by coordinates. Something somewhere around there. Now, this place is where the comparisons with Diablo start to become a bit more apparent. Well, that and Orc Highwayman. Now then, Arcanum and Diablo 2. Arcanum and Diablo 2 were released 1 year apart, and it shows. Arcanum was it's complete and absolutely unplayable if you're using only the real-time mode. By using turns, you actually have a chance of making decisions. Otherwise, the game goes incredibly fast, even on the. And I don't think there's a way to slow it down. Why do I mention Diablo right now? Well, Diablo uses real time. In other words, you click the enemies to advance. They all move at their own speed. There's no stopping everything. If you want to stop, you just have to go. Or there's almost no stopping. And the setting of Diablo features a lot of blood-covered worlds, a lot of undead, a lot of eerie crypts, a lot of things that will get rejected from a cover of a heavy metal band. Now then, what do we get almost on? And now we're going to start seeing in Arcanum a lot of assets of similar nature. We have these tortured dungeons, abandoned temples, creepy, eerie-looking locales filled with mobs of undead, of demons, of elementals, etc. Of things that remind you a lot of Diablo. Now, I'm not going to say that it was a rush. I'm not going to say that it was forced into the game at the last second, but I don't think the developers intended for there to be so many enemies and for there to be real-time combat. I believe that if there was a way to improve the game, would be to reduce the number of enemies you encounter, but to compensate, make the enemies a bit more threatening. But unless I'm talking about numbers, forget I said anything. The problem is, when there's so many enemies at every single place, each combat doesn't feel as unique as it should. A few well-placed cards in a strategic formation to make the combat the most challenging in every instance would be the ideal to get, but again, ideals and reality are two different fields. Now then, we have some sort of two types of skeletal mages here. They can cast low-level air schools, spells from the air school. Now then, magic is a completely different issue that I would talk about some other time, but again, there are 16 schools of magic with 5 spells each. That's about 80 different units if we forsake the requisite of 19 points of intelligence to reach the last level of spells. That's at least 80 skill points just to know every single spell ever. And of course, almost 60% of all spells in the game are absolutely useless. Then again, you can make a mage that has got every single skill that a thief should have. You could become the best thief by usage of spells, but well, that will be talked about some other time. Now, spirits. I think piercing weapons don't work so well on them, so I try electricity. Turns out I was right. Electricity is it's better on these enemies than on skeleton. Electricity is better on skeletons than bullets are something to do with piercing weapons and resistance to piercing attacks, or just resistance to melee weapons. At least more than zombies do, because zombies fall like a charm to the common lead. What else was there to say? Yes, comparisons with Diablo 2. In short, this setting reminds me a lot of Diablo. And yes, if you remember the black diamond that we got from the ancient maze a few episodes ago, this we should present it as a sacrifice, if we were, of course, not right now, because that will spoil the quest, because the sacrifices have to be presented in a very specific order. And the first sacrifice is still a few episodes away from here. Now then, yes, as you imagine, this is a tomb, yes, underground castle, tomb, torture central, whatever it is, populated with the undead. You can guess that most of the items, if not to say, I think all of the items here are cursed. By cursed I mean they have, of course, they are powerful, they are useful, but they have a negative quality to them that will make them completely unwieldy in battle. The last thing you need is for some random effect to happen, because with the amount of battles that you get are just some of the effects are simply not worth trading for. Like the worst offender would be the sword, I think it will be the sword of the rock or some of the black stone or something like that. That can be found in the sewers and can be always found in the sewers. That sword has got a 25% chance with each hit, not with each turn, to reduce the character's dexterity permanently by 1 point. You can imagine dexterity being the quintessential stat for a fighter that specializes in using swords. You can imagine how it destroyed the character that first encountered it. It was a halfling, by the way. Now then, I'm getting off topic here because there's simply not much else to talk about. It's a long, the trend continues with long dungeons filled with a lot of enemies and nothing memorable to it. But now they're much closer to what aesthetically to Diablo, and not only in an attempted gameplay. I say attempted because this is Arcanum, it's not Diablo. It shouldn't try to be Diablo. It shouldn't have tried, but well, I guess that's what I guess we got. I guess we got a product like we got one. There's no use in complaining because for all my complaining about the game, the good far outweighs the bad. Now then, the reason why this temple is here, it's part of a side quest, a two-step side quest, because this tomb will lead to another another dungeon, which, well, it's even less memorable than this one, because this one, the reward for this one is at least an NPC, an evil karma NPC that won't join us right now because we have good karma. But it could potentially join us if I really care that much about him. And to be honest, there's so many NPCs around here that none of them are fleshed out enough. Baldur's Gate 2, it's a fantastic game where most of the characters at least have some sort of personality, and even then CERN and, if I remember correctly, Mazzy, they are complete and absolutely forgettable. And don't even get me started with Valigar. Now a game, and Baldur's Gate 2 was a bit conservative in terms of NPCs, if I remember correctly. At least there wasn't an insane amount of them. Well, the long and short of it is that the more NPCs you have, the less personality or the less chance you have to develop them. And that's why you have NPCs like Jaina or an ogre in Shrouded Hills that won't ever be mentioned again. And yes, there was an ogre that was joinable there. Now, let's abuse the game system a little bit more. Enemies are not smart enough to open doors. I open the door, I unload 2 shots, I close the door, I raise and repeat, and the Speaker of Evil cannot cast his evil spells on me. Mummies are Well, in terms of undead enemies, they're closer to poisonous zombies than to gore guards or lord slave, a more powerful version of the gore guard. And again, open door, kill them, close door. What should we be getting out when all of this is done? Well, as I said before, just I guess experience will be will be what we'll be getting. Now we can see why another bug in the system. The system doesn't recognize there's a wall. The NPCs won't recognize that there's a wall between the enemies and himself, and therefore we're technically right now hitting the wall. That's what he's doing, is absolutely zero damage to the enemy. Now then I had to run back to the beginning and then back again to finally kill him. Now then, I've actually run out of things to say about the game for now. I guess there are still a few dungeons that are as long as this one and they're just as optional as this one. In case I encounter it, I'm definitely going to cut it short, because again, this is just killing enemies. There's nothing much to it. Killing enemies, collect cursed items, then I'm going to sell them. If you're again, I said before that we can get NPC out of this one. To get it, just skip to the 15th minute, something the 15-minute mark. Now then, until the next video.
What is it that you want? Yes, madam. Yes.
all this time? Ah, the voice of the living. So long it's been. Warrior in the army of the dead. Cursed death with no release. Life beyond this wasted flesh. This temple, a home to the Order. Speakers commune, dancing with the dead. They brought us back to sever the hand. So very long ago. Listen. Travel north to the cave, the dragon. Find the pool. Bring back the blood. Please. I want to live.
What is it that... Yes? What is it that... Yes, ma'am.